II, as a reconnaissance pilot, it is not normal to encounter, much less destroy, German airplanes in any significant numbers. In my case, I was very lucky and ran across quite a few of them.
Lieutenant Colonel Clyde East, America's leading reconnaissance ace. Flying the reconnaissance version of the P-51 Mustang, East achieved his first victory on D-Day, encountering 4 German aircraft over the Normandy beachhead. By the end of the war, he'd shot down 12.5 enemy planes and earned a place in Air Force record books. After World War II, East remained in tactical reconnaissance. During the Korean War, he flew 2 combat tours in RF-80 and RF-51 aircraft, and he flew the first combat mission utilizing air refueling.
There was a requirement to cover certain targets in far North Korea, which our RF-80s of the period were unable to cover. So it was decided, since air refueling had just become available, that we would try this technique. The technique involved 2 external tanks, one on each wingtip, with a large probe coming out of each tank. And you had to fill each tank individually, but you couldn't fill them all the way the first time. You filled one tank half full, then switched over and filled the tank on the opposite side all the way full, then you came back and filled the tank that was half full all the way full.
East served for 3 years as an advisor to the Italian Air Force, helping them transition to RF-84 aircraft. He returned to Shaw Air Force Base, South Carolina in 1958 to assume command of his first RF-101 unit.
I never found it necessary to outline in detail the things that I wanted done. I had good people working for me, and I would give them the general guidance that was needed for the job that I had for them. And in almost 99, or almost all of the cases, it came out the way that I would want it to.
October 1962.
Good evening, my fellow citizens. This government, as promised, has maintained the closest surveillance of the Soviet military buildup on the island of Cuba. Within the past week, unmistakable evidence has established the fact that a series of offensive missile sites is now in preparation on that imprisoned island.
We were hastily alerted and moved to Florida on the 22nd of October, and were issued instructions to prepare target coverage over certain specific targets that had been discovered in Cuba. At the end of the Cuban crisis, several days following this, we were informed that we had to get ready for a distinguished visitor. It turned out to be the President, Kennedy. He came to Homestead Air Force Base, where we had moved temporarily, and said some very nice things about us, indicating that between the U-2 project's work and ourselves, that we had probably contributed as much for the good of the nation as any other group of men in history. It was very nice to hear those kind of words from the President. I was right where I wanted to be, and I had a lot of recognition for the things that I did. I think that when it comes to an Air Force career, mine was probably the luckiest of all time.